Today, we are going to explore the process of installing applications on our iPhone devices, and this particular video is primarily intended for individuals who might have previously used an Android device and have recently transitioned to an iPhone. The procedure does change somewhat when we install applications. Furthermore, I want to inform you in advance that there is a legitimate method which we will examine initially, and there is a method that is not entirely legal that follows these. For those transitioning from Android, you might be accustomed to searching on Google for an APK file of an application, downloading it, and Android permits you to install it. It might request some permissions, and you simply proceed with the installation and have it readily available. Certainly, let me explain that this is one aspect where iPhone has exerted significant control, if not entirely absolute control, because it scarcely permits us to perform these types of installations, and if it does, it is entirely at our own risk. This is why there are more instances of hacking and data theft on Android compared to iPhone. The iPhone is, to put it another way, extremely protective of its applications and its App Store to prevent these types of incidents from occurring. So, once this is articulated, let's proceed with the installation of applications. How is this accomplished in the legitimate manner I previously mentioned? Well, what we are going to do is simply search for the App Store. Once on our home screen, we will swipe downward from the middle and the subsequent interface will appear. Then you simply search for the App Store and the application will manifest there. If you cannot access this interface to search and cannot locate the application anywhere, just swipe to the right as many times as you can, like 1, 2, 3. Well, all the applications you possess will appear at the start, but if you only have one, just swipe once and this will appear. Once you are up here where it indicates App Library and there's a magnifying glass icon, click on it and it will provide you with the option to search once more. Here we search for the App Store and let's comprehend one thing. On Android, for those transitioning from Android, applications are installed from the Google Play Store or perhaps if you have a Huawei device from the Huawei Store. However, in this particular case, since we are on an iPhone, that Play Store or App Store is specifically referred to as the App Store. So when you proceed to install something, you no longer search for Play Store or anything similar, but rather App Store. One very significant thing perhaps in the future when you are viewing this video, supposedly iPhone intends to permit you to install applications from the Google Play Store on your iPhone, so this might be enabled in the future, but for now it is not enabled. Let's navigate to where it says App Store, then we open this application. I was downloading this game here. Let's go to today and I will explain everything from the beginning. Once you are here, it is literally an interface quite similar to what you would have, for example, in the Play Store or another App Store, because it simply brings everything well detailed here, whether it's games, apps, arcade, all these things that we can install. The arcade is like a subscription you can acquire. It's very similar to Google Play, where they also have a subscription where you acquire many games just for a monthly fee. But anyway, what we are going to do today is simply look for an app you desire. For example, let's examine one here. Let's say this MLB baseball one, if I am not mistaken, or better yet, the NBA basketball one. Let's search for it. Let's say it did not appear here, but I want to download that app. How do I do it? Do I go down to the bottom right where it says search? And here what I'm going to do is this interface will appear for us, and what we're going to do is at the top where it says games, apps, stories and more, there we will search. In this case, I already know which app I want to install, so I'm simply going to search for NBA. But for example, if you're looking for games for two or games for kids or whatever, you search like that so that all the games or apps available in the category you're looking for appear. In my case, I'm going to search for NBA directly and I hit search, and here it will show me the game, but I wanted another one, this one here, NBA basketball, and what I'm going to do is click where it says get. Then when I click get, it will ask me to verify my installation. So what does that mean? What this signifies is that we need to authenticate our identity using Face ID to continue with the application installation. So what will happen is, as you can see, it instructs us to press the lock button twice to install the application. This time we must perform this action very quickly. It cannot be done slowly, because if it is, our phone will lock and the screen will lock as well. Therefore, we must press that button twice in rapid succession. Another essential thing is that you need to be positioned in front of the iPhone camera, because otherwise it will not read the Face ID. You can notice the icon below that indicates to confirm with the side button. When you press it twice, another icon will appear below. Let's see, let's press it twice here, and it will simply indicate that the Face ID was recognized, and that's it. So What happens is that when you press it twice, it will request your Face ID. For instance, let's try with another application, one that isn't excessively large because otherwise we'll be here downloading things for a while. For example, let's try this mini basketball one. Let's see if it's not too large. Look, I'm going to move away from the camera. I'll just press get and it will ask for verification again. But what happens here is that when I press twice, it shows face not recognized below. So when it shows face not recognized, it instructs me to install. It provides me the option to install. But when I press install, it will prompt me to enter my Face ID password. This makes the application installation process on our phone quite tedious. Therefore, it's recommended that whenever you install applications, press twice and appear in front of the camera to detect the Face ID. If you have older devices with a fingerprint sensor and such, it won't ask for your face but your fingerprint. So we would have this process to do it. If you receive a password request, because sometimes when you install applications, it asks for a password, we can configure this. How can we achieve it? Let's proceed to the settings application. Let's navigate back here and access this application known as settings. This application might be displayed to you as configuration depending on the language setting of your phone. Once you enter this section, your name and your Face ID will be visible at the top. What actions should you take there? To proceed, you need to input your Apple ID, which means you should tap on your name. Give it a tap and you will see all this information appearing. What steps should we take next? Let's navigate to the section labeled Content and Purchases, and here we will locate the password settings. So what actions can we undertake here? We have the option to determine if we wanted to request the password when downloading free applications or solely when making a purchase. I simply deactivate this option and click OK, and that's it. It's disabled so it won't keep prompting me every single time. As you observed, it only required the 2 taps and Face ID, which is primarily for security, so no one can take our phone and start installing applications and extracting information. For those who might not be aware, sometimes when we uninstall an application from our phone, the app might be removed, but the information remains stored on the device. When you reinstall an application, it might be a bank account, and when you reinstall it, it reloads your user and all your information. So you have to keep that in mind. Lastly, I want to demonstrate something. What occurs if I, for instance, uninstall this application here that we just saw. I will delete it, and it's done. I uninstalled it. Now I'm going to return to the App Store and search for that application again. What happens? Observe how the icon manifests itself at this particular moment. Previously, it would display the term get or perhaps download or another similar term. In my specific situation, now with the NBA application, since I've previously had it, it presents this distinct icon. That's why I mentioned that sometimes data is retained, and when I've already possessed an app on my iPhone and wish to reinstall it, it won't request Face ID again or anything. Merely by tapping on it, it will commence downloading without any complications because it already trusts that I've had the app before. Now this is the entirely legitimate method I intended to demonstrate, but now let's discuss the so-called illegal method, which is a procedure referred to as jailbreak. For those transitioning from Android, it's essentially akin to rooting the phone. As you can observe, it's about eliminating certain restrictions imposed by Apple, such as not being able to install unknown apps. This is accomplished through various providers, one of them being Cydia. You can download Cydia, and occasionally you can download apps similar to APKs on Android. However, I personally don't advocate it. Many individuals claim it removes the iPhone's restrictions, enhances it as a phone, and permits you to perform different tasks. Indeed, you can discover websites showcasing all these apps and what they can accomplish, various features you can enable in advanced mode on your iPhone, but ultimately this frequently results in numerous issues and the installation process can be arduous. You also forfeit protection from iPhone because with jailbreak, installing an updated iOS beta or similar programs becomes more intricate. You might have to reset the iPhone. So I advise just leaving it as it is and perhaps waiting to see if iPhone or Apple in general decides to permit app installations from other stores. So friends, that's essentially it. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time, and if you have any requests for an iPhone tutorial, leave them in the comments section. See you, bye bye.